Uh, AI, it's the ability to find sort of like finer grain classifications or, um, and right, like these days, so I'm starting to see a lot of people trying to just go straight to like AI right now. So as far as it relates to my role, I spend a lot of time thinking about like deploying. So there's the early pipeline part of it where you're actually training and stuff. That's being tackled by like so many people, but the ability to actually deploy them. And so TensorFlow has a different model of deployment than say like PMML or scikit-learn. So been spending just a lot of time on like trying to optimize things after models have been trained, like for example, and just the ability to do experimentation, which I'm actually seeing a lot of people really compare AI models to their traditional scikit-learn ML models. So yeah, like a lot of experimentation and performance comparisons, things like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things that's put, right, like you can always think back and say, okay, Spark had a lot of examples when it first came out. It was very approachable. There was a whole ton of support. It sort of had this academic background, and people got excited about that. I think one thing that made Spark pretty fun was the focus on machine learning. Right, there was a lot of ETL and everything. And yeah, so really, obviously, with TensorFlow, Google has just like tons and tons of like examples and resources and that kind of thing. And I think something they could do better, there's this tool called TensorBoard, right, which kind of helps you try to reason through the actual learning process about how it's actually learning things. It's kind of a fundamental problem with AI, is just trying to understand, right, like how did it get to these different classifications, like how did each node learn one particular piece of clothing or one stripe or one edge or something like that it's detecting. So I mean, I don't think it's something even like the best tool designers can help build. Right now, the current state of TensorFlow, I think there's still quite a bit of confusion as to what's the actual best like high-level library to use for it. Because yeah, TensorFlow itself is super low level, which kind of reminds me of Spark as well when it first came out. Spark had kind of all these like really, really low-level operators, and then they started to build more SQL-like semantics to kind of appeal to more and more people. But yeah. Well, I mean, from a competitor type thing, I mean, I view services like Google's Cloud ML, which are starting to dabble in this experimentation. And yeah, so Google obviously knows TensorFlow really in and out, right? They're the creators of it. They're getting better about the serving of it and sort of what happens after you built the model, right? And so there's services like the Amazon Rally ML service, just I guess making it like easier to actually deploy these things and just have a couple clicks to say, all right, yeah, this is experiment A, this is experiment B. If you start doing multi-arm bandit Rally type of experiments where you can slowly shift traffic throughout the experiment to the Rally winning model, and just sort of from like the entire experiment, like you sort of overall really optimize for that and not just the absolute winning thing at the end of it, kind of a waterfall approach to testing, which is just wait 3 weeks and then flip to the new one versus kind of slowly shifting traffic. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I like the AI spin. I've seen a couple of the same speakers that I've seen throughout other By the Bay series, but they've got new talks. They've got talks specific to AI. That was one thing I was starting to struggle with a little bit, is I had a lot of material on Spark, and I really wanted this to be like TensorFlow specific. So it's fun to see the same principles even, that are there in Spark and other technologies that are being transferred over, and yeah, different ways to do it and different tools and stuff. So yeah, it's good to see all those.
Perfect. That's all I need.
Sweet, man.